And good morning for those who are joining from abroad. Welcome to the SAP S4 HANA on ABAP session. And this is basically a demo session for you. We'll start with the demo and then continuing with the upcoming sessions in the entire course. So let us start the presentation so that all right. So basically this is particularly for the technical folks. So this whole program, this is an SAP on HANA. HANA is nothing but a new database introduced by SAP. So let us start with the session today, and we'll see what we are going to cover now today's session. So basically the content for these sessions, demo sessions, we have faculty information a little bit, S4 HANA overview, and then we will be getting into the course overview where we will be discussing on what topics and what is the overall coverage in the course for a student can expect. Then we will be moving on to the conclusion and the QA sessions. Of course, we might not be, depending upon the time, we might not be covering all these things, but we'll be continuing with the continuation will be in the forthcoming session, and we'll continue with the course program itself. So let us see what here. What is it here? I mean, this is basically about me. My name is Ajit. I am basically a BTech graduate in electrical and electronics engineering. I did an MBA program in human resource management and marketing management as optional subjects. Effective subjects. I mean, elective subjects, not the optional ones. So these are my electives. Altogether, I have 24 years of industry experience. Among 21 years in SAP, core technical, roles I played. 11 years I worked in the United States on sites. I mean, continuously, and I'm certified on HANA, ABAP HANA, headed software division for the 35th national games. That was a challenging opportunity, but it is a non-SAP exposure. It was totally management, fully management, and I got excellent certificate from that. That is a thing which I wanted to point out. Otherwise, I would not have even mentioned this. So the 35th national games was happened in Trivandrum, capital city of Kerala. I basically belong from that place. And I conducted a seminar on stakeholder impact in project related problem resolution. So this one was a key topic for me during my MBA program, and we had an interview conducted by inviting certain management senior personnel. So I participated in that one, and then I played I conducted this seminar, the topic in that seminar program. So these are the main points, and then coming to the industry experience. As I mentioned earlier, I worked 21 years in SAP as a core technical personnel. So in SAP, when you say technical personnel, they are developers, basically starting with their career and developing programs for SAP and in SAP, which is meant for the business. So a business is having, as all aware, a business is having different departments. In commonly, the terminology what we call it as a department, in SAP we call it as functional areas. There are 12 plus functional areas, major functional areas we have, and then industries also we have. For different industries, SAP has products meant for that particular industry, such as IS utilities, IS media. Those are industry solution specific software. In common, we call it as ERP system. where we have retail industries out there, banking industry specific, and then pharma industries. So these are the particular industries SAP has. I mean, more of this is out there, but these are the specific industries I worked with. Retail industry I worked with, banking industries. I mean, in fact, I work for an international finance corporation. It's a division of World Bank Group. So I worked in that industry for funds management, budget related things like that. Those are the key areas I worked on. And pharmaceutical industry, the major client I can point out is Eli Lilly, which is based out of Indianapolis, United States. I worked on site for that client. Media industries, I work for two major, two giants in this group. One is for MGM Studios. I work for Walt Disney. These are the two clients I worked in media industry. Of course, then I work for Oklahoma Publishing Company. They are wholly into journals and dailies. All these things are their product. So I work for that company as well. And oil industry, entertainment, all these things. So let me come to the functional expertise. I mean, I am not a core functional personnel, but as far as a technical personnel is concerned, he is supposed to work on one or the other functional area. Any program we develop is not common purpose. It's all for business, and it is definitely belongs to one of the functional areas, whatever we are talking about. The examples are finance and controlling. These are the major functional areas: finance and controlling. You have sales and distribution. You have materials management. You have human capital management. Earlier it used to be known as HR, SAP HR. HR has HR ABAP, which is different from the nominal ABAP. You need to learn a little more, but once you learn ABAP, you can learn HR ABAP. That's a prerequisite. And then I have worked on project systems area, plan maintenance area, production planning, quality management. All these areas I worked, and including certain sub areas. If you talk about some functional areas, like as far as finance is concerned, I worked in objects related to account receivables, account payables, asset accounting, and then funds management, budgeting. All these areas are sub-functional areas in SAP. And if you look at materials management, there will be warehouse management, and then certain areas related to the warehouse management, procurement, everything. These things I worked on. And earlier in my career, I started with Oracle. I worked as Oracle database administrator for a couple of years, and then I worked in project lead roles. Not a project management perspective. My roles are all technical, and tech lead. I was working as tech leads. Project management is altogether whole different stream, as you know. So this is not the management of project. This is the management of deliverables, basically. And then software architect roles also I worked on. Plenty of experience as trainer. Even before getting onto this SAP or even this Oracle career, I was working as a trainer. I have both academic and corporate, training experience. I worked as a corporate trainer for ABAP and ABAP HANA. HANA corporate trainer I have yet to do, but academic training I have already done. I was working as a core ABAP corporate trainer for a couple of clients, not couple, many of the clients. Even in the U.S., I worked as a corporate trainer for a while. While I was working itself for the clients, I worked as a corporate trainer. And experience in as academic trainer for engineering subjects. So those are all like previous things, but plenty of experience as a trainer. That's what I wanted to point out. Let's move on to the next slide. We have a basic slide for SAP HANA, what we are aiming to learn. So here, HANA basically stands for High Performance Analytical Appliance. So I necessarily not have to say that this is basically an RDBMS. It is not only an RDBMS, not merely a relational database management system. This is more of a collection of RDBMSs, I would say, with a lot of other features. But this is primarily meant for working with SAP implementations. So this should be act as a back and forth. HANA should act as a back and forth ERP systems, especially from SAP. And of course, if you wanted to only to buy HANA HANA database management system, of course you can buy it, you can implement it. You have so many features which is useful. Even when you are not using SAP, one can buy HANA and then use it as their database for their database management. So HANA basically stands for High Performance Analytical Appliance. That is the expansion for HANA. So it is nothing but an appliance, a device or an equipment, which I would say, for database management purposes. Let's move on to the next slide. So S/4HANA is the latest product from SAP family as far as this database management is concerned. This S4 stands for system for fourth generation, you can say. Some people refer to something like, SAP has the product ERP system used to call as R3. And well before, when it was like mainframe computing model was in place, SAP had R2 system, which is the release 2. 2 is 2-tier system. So you have only 2 tiers. In one tier, which is the backend tier, where you have your database server along with your application server is deployed. And another tier, second tier, is the front end, where the application which is used to work with any application tool. Which is built to work with this backend. So that is a 2-tier architecture which is used, which was earlier called as release 2. Then come to the another release, which was major release, which is R3, which has become a 3-tier system. As the evolution of client-server computing methodology, we implemented R3. SAP implemented R3, or SAP come up with a product like R3, release 3. The 3, where the release, R stands for release and 3 stands for 3-tier system, in which you have a backend server and then the middle layer or application server layer. Then you have a front-end server layer, which is nothing but your SAP GUI, graphical user interface, SAP GUI. That is a tool we use to connect to the backend server through the application layer. So application layer is the actual product of SAP at the time. I mean, in fact, they were embedding this application layer with the database layer. So SAP was available in those days, coming as a package with a database server. In most of the implementations of SAP in those days, if you look at it, I'm talking about late 90s, in mid to late 90s of last century, and then beginning of this 21st century, we can see that all these, all the implementations happened. Until like 2010, 12, 15, we can see that all the implementation, majority of the implementations are coming along with the Oracle database as a backend server or a database server. Then the SAP real product or the application layer is embedded with the SAP Oracle, with the Oracle database server, and then that is a SAP product. Then with the front end tool like SAP GUI for connecting to SAP. Of course, you can have other tools to connect to SAP, that is there, but this is basically coming from as a tool from SAP family itself. So now let us see what is S4. When some people refer to S4 as this way, I can say that system 4, which is like 4 stands for 4-tier system. So what is the 4th tier now? 4th tier is like all we know. The first layer is a database, and second layer or second tier is nothing but the application server, application layer, where you have all the business programs or business rules enforced. See, in a database, you can save any data using any of the appropriate tool. You can save data in tables. But when it comes to a SAP product, we have an application layer. Any data, what you want to do, suppose you wanted to save a sales order. For a sales order, there are certain entities are a must. Like you need to have a sales organization, you need to have a sales distribution channel, you need to have a division which we need to sell. So things like so many aspects need to be, or so many entities need to be fulfilled to have data go into your backend server. That is where SAP has the importance. SAP's system itself is having importance. An ERP system where all the data you send into your database, your business database, is subject to all the business validations. If the validations are being achieved, then only the data will be sent back to the backend server. So you have meaningful data. Even database definition says that it is an organized collection of meaningful, useful, meaningful data. Organized collection. That is what a database is. So you are not saving any junk data. All the data you needed or you saved in your database is needed for your business. One or the other way we use it. So when it comes to the S4 HANA, first tier or first layer is nothing but the backend layer, which is a database layer. Then we have the application layer, which is the SAP Business Suite. Then it comes to the third tier, which is nothing but your front-end tier or your application tools, with using which you are interacting with your database through SAP Business Suite. So then comes to the fourth layer. What is this fourth layer now? So the three tiers or three layers, which we already know. It's a backend, middleware, and your front end. Now the fourth layer is nothing but for a business. Business nowadays, it is not only depending on the data or internal data, it is also depending upon certain external information, external data, but it is not an integral part of your business. Let us see an example. A customer or a prospect, someone in the sense, who can be a potential customer in the future. We wanted to target him. Suppose big companies, they wanted to, for example, if you take Mercedes-Benz, first they will see the market, they will study the market and see who have the potential to buy a Benz car, Mercedes-Benz car. They don't want to get into all the villa and all the homes to seek for whether they need a car or a Mercedes-Benz, whether they can afford to have it. They wanted to filter out people who are in need of luxury cars, who are looking for luxury cars, who have the potential to buy a luxury car. So they'll be the target group for the big companies like Mercedes-Benz or BMW, or we call it as Audi. So they need certain information, which is not integral part of their business at this time. These are their prospects, their possible customers. So they need to collect that information. So they themselves can have agents employed for collecting, as their employees, for collecting this information, or they can approach certain agency who already have this data as their primary data, which is going to be a secondary data for us, for the company who is seeking for this information. That is another part of database or certain data which the business needs. So that nowadays I can refer that to be a cloud. It is a cloud layer from which I can get data, I can seek data, I can pump data back into whatever is needed. So that is the fourth tier. In SAP S4 HANA, we have the room to deal with certain kind of external data which is needed for business but not integral part of your business data. So that is the fourth tier we are talking about, or fourth layer we are talking about. Or some people say that earlier it was R3, now R is incremented by 1, which is OPQRS. Now it is S, and 3 is incremented by 1, so it is 4. So R3 becomes S4 now. Okay, you refer to that way, I don't care. That is something different. So S4 is nothing but, which is stands for, you can say that system 4, which has a fourth layer now, and HANA is high performance analytical appliance. If you see the slogan from SAP itself, run simple with the next generation business suite. So one more thing I wanted to point out here. Let us move on to the next slide. We'll see the things in detail. Okay, before this, yeah, here I can explain that whatever I was intended to tell you on S4. We just basically seen that what S4 HANA stands for. Okay, HANA is a high performance analytical appliance, and then S4 stands for the fourth tier. That signifies it has a fourth tier in the picture right now. But again, more have to say on it. More have to comment on this. We will see the little bit history of how SAP HANA is come into the picture. this S4 HANA is the latest product from SAP. Let us see what was there before, a little by little, and then move on to our core area. Before SAP HANA, we were using database management systems. As I mentioned earlier, we were using the SAP themselves were using embedded database management system from a third party, embedded with their own product, the business suite, where they use Oracle as a major vendor. Whom our clients need Oracle as their backend, then of course SAP provide their business suite along with Oracle RDBMS. If client wanted it along with the SAP business suite along with the Informix, this is an integral part. SAP themselves have already made a package integrated to Informix, and then that package they were selling. Now SAP were thinking seriously about the database management systems. They wanted to have their own better database management system, more powerful, with more functionality. That is why they started building this thing. So during 90s, SAP was picked up the market, late 90s in the last century, and by 2000 there were 2008 2K problem was there. I don't want to get into that right now. So we have those arena passed by. Then SAP was strongly holding the market, and pretty much this ERP system was like used by all 500 Fortune companies in the beginning itself. And then their number of clients is like gone beyond. Even I don't have the number right now. Recently I didn't check it, but if you look at any successfully running business, like SAP slogans earlier, it was like this: a best run business runs SAP. That means if you check any best run businesses, successful businesses running, they might be running SAP as their part of their software solutions within their company. So that was the slogan earlier SAP has with them. Now SAP, their slogan is simple, run simple. That is their slogan right now. So they are making things simple. We'll see by what aspect they are making simple. We'll see that. So let us come to the little bit of the history. SAP HANA, first they introduced as an in-memory platform. What is an in-memory platform? That is what the more important or very core thing what we need to understand as far as SAP HANA is concerned. In our traditional database, we are using a back-end storage, permanent storage device. We need to have that because all the data what we are saving into our back-end has to be permanently stored for future usage or for future reference. Most of the companies, they keep, even big companies, they keep even 15 to 20, 25 years back data for their analysis purposes. So in-memory platform, now let us think about a situation where we are using the traditional database system. So we have a permanent, nothing but which is a hard disk. So in the hard disk, all the data will be stored. Within the hard disk, we will have data files, and data files within data files you can see databases, a relational database itself, and then not too many, but only single relational database management system will be there in every implementation, and then into that our data will be written. Whatever transactions you are running at the front end in SAP, all the data captured will be gone to the backend server and written in the related database system, in the database permanently. But then when successfully running businesses, when they implemented SAP, their business is grown beyond the expectations. So they are saving more money. They are doing their processes very quickly because the data integrity and real-time access, or the data is readily available as and when it is needed. So they can do anything wanted within the business, and then their business were grown. So it is expanded. The data growth is also going proportionally growing high. When the data size is grown high, there were problems started showing up in running reports. Certain reports run hours together. Think about a situation. The nightly running reports, they started running at around 12 o'clock, where the systems are becoming pretty much free, and even in the morning when this business starts, still the report is running. It is not come up with the results. So that's not a good sign, or you cannot make decisions in the morning. So probably for a daily job which is keep running in the daytime, in the next day, then it is not a good sign. You cannot. So there's a problem with the growth in the data. So when you have data growth, then we need to handle that data, and we need to handle the avoid the performance issues. So what they thought is, okay, why don't I do something? Why don't I keep certain memory, huge memory, in where I can maintain a database? So the database retrieval will be very much faster than what you can do. How you wanted to read the data from a database, from a hard disk. For a hard disk or an external storage device, when you wanted to do data query, we need to have done a lot of things. So you have to have database connectivity. For even each call, the connectivity has to be open. So that's a time consuming job. It is not the time consuming. When you say time consuming, I'm talking about millions of records, or probably like 100,000s of records, which we wanted to run it for running a report, to get a consolidated report for making decision in business. So that is the situation. I'm not talking about 10 records or 100 records. It doesn't matter. It will be coming very fast, irrespective of the database you are using. As far as you are using a computer, 100,000 records are not that bad. But we are talking about huge amount of data in a daily basis. Then this is affecting your performance. So then SAP come up with an in-memory platform. That is a very raw, or the oldest kind of database what SAP has introduced, which has been introduced in 2011, which is in-memory database. What they do is they keep a database in this memory, in the memory itself. So it is a limited memory. It is not that your all 20 years of data is not going to put it in there. Then if that is the case, then you probably need like hundreds of terabytes of memory. That is very huge amount you need to spend for. Even that memory, how it prices. Smartphones, if you go buy for a smartphone with a 16 GB memory, and if you go for 32 or 64, comparatively the price will be very high. Just for memory you are paying a lot of money. So memory has a lot of price you need to give. So now if we think about a database where you can have at least 2 or 3 years of historical data, or your transactional data stored, then that is pretty much useful for you to run the business for the day. So you can have like a few terabytes of memory to handle this the database. That is what SAP HANA is. That is a raw version, or the very first version of SAP HANA, where you have few terabytes of memory, probably like 3, 4 tera or 5 tera. Maybe a little more rich people, a rich company, maybe they may be buying 10 terabytes of memory. That's more than enough of what you need to handle your database for past 2 to 3 years. So that is the very first HANA database. Then when it comes to the next generation, I mean, because the innovation was happening, and then a lot of research were happened, they were trying to improve this this architecture. They come up with a new SAP HANA database, where, see, as I mentioned before, their main consolation is warehousing. Data warehousing. Data warehousing is meant for lot of amount of data, mainly for reporting purposes. You think about a situation when you are running, you are into SAP and you wanted to create a sales order. How much data you are going to handle? Probably like you may be handling 1,000 fields, single fields. So in one record you have 1,000 fields. How much data it is going to be? It is going to be like few kilobytes, not even a megabyte of memory is needed for that. Probably half megabyte maximum, 500 KB, maybe you are handling. That's nothing. That data is, the amount is very less. We are talking about warehousing data. So SAP themselves have come up with a their business warehousing, BIW, long before in early 2000, and then that system now they call it as business intelligence. It is not merely like storing huge amount of data. It is not storage of data. This data is only meant for preparing reports output. You can dice through, you can slice through, you can have pie diagrams. What you need, that will be presented in that way. Even with the latest product from SAP, Lumira is like a very advanced version of your reporting tool for your warehouse management, your data warehousing. So earlier, they first they introduced the in-memory database. Then that database is the architecture is changed to handle the data warehousing. That is the first thing. So now let us see the real-time analysis and real-time reporting. So this is meant for real-time analysis of the data and real-time reporting. Analysis and reporting are two different things, but this goes line by line or in line, goes hand by hand, because without data analysis we are not generating any report. The reports are mainly meant for the top management to make strategic decisions for a business. So these are very key information. Of course, you are in day-to-day business, you are gathering huge amount of data, but all data cannot be viewed by a top level management to make one decision. So they will be consolidating this data to the level of reporting they wanted. They may be concentrating on their financial aspects. Then they may be looking at how much revenue they are receiving, and they will be looking at how much is my capital investment on this. Then what is the rate of return I have, rate of return of investment. So a lot of key performance factors, KPIs. So KPIs. So many measures the top management have, but all for any of these measures to be real time carried out, you need a huge amount of data. When you wanted to process huge amount of data, you need a tool which is capable of processing huge amount of data in a minimal time. That is what we are achieving with SAP HANA for business warehousing. That is the main tool, that's the main product from SAP which they released in 2012. But they still continued their innovation. They come up with a new another product from SAP, which is called SAP Business Suite, powered by SAP HANA. Now, see what is the difference between these two products now. The very first product, the difference between SAP HANA and then Business Warehouse Powered, first product was merely a database, nothing else. But it is very fast because it is an in-memory database. Your database is kept in memory. Remember one thing: if the power goes, it's totally gone. Your database is gone. But make sure that you understand that this in-memory database, the memory database, is all the time is connected to a permanent storage, your permanent database in the backend. So, and then this will be keep updating, but you don't have to worry about it. It is all internal, and as and when the resources are becoming free, it will automatically keep updating. You might have noticed if you buy some products, especially Norton product, when your system is ideal, then in Norton products will say the system resources are available. We are analyzing or doing these things, background jobs and all these things. Same way, automatically when your resources are not using and it is ideal, then this will be every time it is keep updating, of course, but the amount of data going into the permanent storage is little lesser. The amount is little lesser as compared to it is the full-fledged updation. So this memory is not where it is ending. Of course, we have the permanent storage, hard disk or any other permanent storage database where this all data is keep going and updating. Even if the power goes, the memory is volatile, definitely all the data will go. Still, we can have all our data coming back to your your HANA database. Now the major difference between SAP HANA, the very first product, and the SAP Business Warehouse powered by SAP HANA, these two products is nothing but, in the first one it was merely a database. It's merely a database, but it is an in-memory platform, in-memory database platform. But when it comes to this particular second generation or the second product from SAP, which is meant for warehouse purposes. Now see the difference. What is the difference between this 2012 product and 2013 product? In 13 products, there is something very, very, what do you call, very much innovative or very much useful or very much new technology, which is they introduced. They have combined OLAP and OLTP protocols together. That is the major thing. Real-time business usage, SAP HANA Enterprise Cloud for suite on HANA. Of course, it is why it is they didn't call it as S4 HANA. We will come to that. See, this is when it is cloud portion is introduced, we can call it as a fourth tier, but they didn't call it as fourth tier. We will see that. So what is OLAP and OLTP together? Simple. Any protocol, OLAP is nothing but online analytical protocol. Analytical protocol is meant for all these reporting purposes. Analysis, data analysis are like analytical. So, for example, as I mentioned earlier, if you're talking about revenue or if you're talking about your profit margin, anything like related, so you're doing a lot of data analysis, and then you come up with certain results. Based on results, the top management will take strategic decisions. That is there. But here the OLAP is a protocol. A protocol is nothing but it's a set of laws, or the laws which governs the whatever thing. That is what a protocol is. So analytical processes has its own protocol. There, the agencies are like predetermined. These are the basic things which we need to carry along with data analysis. That's the laws governing the rules, or the laws governing the data analysis. This is nothing but that is OLAP. There are a lot of internal technical aspects. A lot of even the data analysis should be based on government agencies directions. See, you might have come across the Enron issue which happened in the United States like a decade back. Some guy was like giving wrong results to the to the outside people to show that their company is running in Enron. It is a like energy company back in US, and then CEO has eventually suicide when he was into case and all. So thereafter the US government enforced a new rule, like Sox and Hawley. They it called it as like some rules they introduced. So they come up with certain laws saying that for your financial reports you need to keep this information. So that is again, it is coming from the government agency outside of your database system, but that need to be taken care in your database. So those are the aspects. So when you do database data analysis, there should be certain protocols to be followed. That is what all included in OLAP. There could be components which is related to your database technically, or your database for business rules. There may be something there. For the outside agency, there may be some law. Everything is included in OLAP. That's how the software itself is built. When software vendors, they will include all these rules. Otherwise, they will also be penalized if something goes wrong. This out of these rules, especially for the government. Other things are like we can decide, right? My company rule, I can decide, or even my database, it should react this way when some certain reports is running. That is not mandatory. That you can have the freedom to use it, but commonly accepted protocol is what we were using. What is wrong if you are using your own protocol? Of course, as I mentioned, one component is coming from government agencies. They tell us, okay, your data analysis should go this way. Yes, we have to be in line with that. Second is, in our business, we have liberty, we have freedom to choose our own protocols, our own business-wide protocol. Our data should go in this fashion. Our data should be processed in this fashion or this way. Of course, that is agreeable. But the conflict comes when you want to share this same reports or data with another agency for some purposes. Then their protocols may be different and the data analysis cannot be achieved the way you want. So again, what happens now? It is just like EDI introduced into the EDI, and then IDOCs and EDI formats are all accepted worldwide. Then only communication is smooth. Everyone understands what I am talking. You will understand. When I send you an IDOC, you know that first 10 characters are meant for the customer number. Everyone is accepted that. That is the protocol used for EDI, electronic data interchange. So same way, these are the protocols which is for data analytical purposes. Now come to OLTP. Simple. Same way, there are certain set of rules or laws which is for transactions. Online transaction protocol. You do lot of transaction in your system. You create your customer, you create your financial documents, you create your purchase order. So these are all documents you create on a daily basis in your business, and that too thousands of documents you create in a day. Even big companies, they create I wouldn't say millions, but still 100,000s of documents they create. So even for transactions also, you need to go with certain protocols. There is certain set of laws governing all the transactions that should be taken care. So when earlier, until we come up to the SAP HANA, where we can see that both the protocols are in line, they are coming together in one system, that is achieved in SAP HANA, this business suite. Until then, these were handled separately. Transaction protocols are handled in one part of your software, and whatever analytical protocol which is meant for only for warehousing management, now everything is in one place. So that is the major difference between the warehouse powered HANA and the business suite HANA. All right, give me 2 minutes, please. Yes. Now let us see the product SAP Simple Finance powered by SAP HANA. Simple Finance. This is a very this is a slogan now. SAP run simple, run simple. That is what SAP say. Run simple. Don't get it too much complicated. But what is the simplicity they are meaning, or how it has become simple? Of course, whatever business process is there, of course, you need to have things done. What if I wanted to do a manufacturing? In a production planning, SAP that has certain routing for production. So you cannot change that. Suppose if you wanted to have a quality product, you will be changing only to improve the quality, or to reduce the cost, or to reduce the time span for the production. These are the components, or these are the things which you may be actively looking at in your production line. But otherwise, you will keep the same. More or less, you will keep the same process for your production of your for the manufacturing of your product. So what is going to be simple? It is nothing but SAP in finance aspects. They have introduced a certain simple finance. Simple finance is you are not changing. You are account payable is account payable only. You cannot be way out with that. You have to pay the amount. Account receivables is you have to receive the revenue from your customer. Otherwise, you cannot run your business successfully. So all those things are in place. But when you say simple, you can have that process to be simplified. Maybe in recent days in India, our central government or our federal government wanted to move on to the cashless transactions. That is something which is making more simple, right? As a human being, I'm not don't think that I'm supporting it or I'm against it. No, I'm just putting it as an example. Never go into other aspects of our discussions. We are only taking it as an example. I'm sorry to use this, but it is easy to understand. There is a reason I'm coming up with that. So cashless economy is, there are a lot of plus points. There are a lot of out points. Let us see the positive side. As I mentioned here, when we wanted to make it simple, okay, you might have, even you might have like very much frustrated in getting some cash in hand from ATMs at some point of time. But if you are fully or 90%, 80%, 80, 90, 95% of cashless economy, you go anywhere. You don't have to cash in hand. Whatever you need, you can just that is more easy, right? That's more simple. The process is made more simple. So the same way, our business process has to have carried out, or it has to be happening. But what if we can make it more simple? That is what SAP is achieving with the simple. It is not just merely the word simple, but the process in SAP, they are making things very simple. That is what they signifies here. So when it comes to the 2014, this is the first step in getting instant financial insight. That is what they are pointing it out. They are only they are in HANA database or HANA business suite, the SAP business suite powered by HANA. So in HANA business suite, they introduced the simple finance component, simple finance component. That means they made some aspects change in finance functional area in their SAP business suite. That is what they achieved. And then there is no aggregates and all we will see, because we will definitely see in detail what aggregates we have in our studies. So I am not going to discuss this thing. No aggregates are as much aggregates they are avoiding it, but without aggregates you cannot have your business run. I mean, aggregates are like functions. When you play with number, you need to have aggregates: maximum of, minimum of, average of, or standard deviation, mean, median. Lot of aggregations we have. And then key performance indicator, you have a lot of things out there, and single source of truth. So these are the major functions, or these are the major aspects were added into the product in 2014. Now, of course, they could have called us S4 HANA, but again, the new, the latest version which is in market, which is released in 2015 February, which has new suite to run simple. Here the simple is not only for finance. My understanding is they have introduced the simple business functionalities into logistics as well. Logistics is an area which is anywhere you handle the materials and all, that is our logistics. So it spans over even production, your materials management, your plant maintenance, your sales and distribution, everywhere it spans over. So those are the functional areas which might have affected by the logistics simple. So SAP themselves have two programs that they have, even a sort of lot of training companies they are providing, one for simple HANA and one is simple logistics. So these are all put it together in S4 HANA. That is what the S4 HANA, the product from SAP is. So S4 HANA, what we can see, the technically that we have in-memory database, and we have that in-memory database connected to your backend to your permanent storage device, and this is like a technical architectural aspect. And then you constantly work with the in-memory database, and then you have functionally the finance and the logistics areas have revamped. They have made it more simple. The way you run the SAP, it is simple. Even I am not really sure about how it is impacted in the new S4 SAP HANA, how the business unit is impacted, because I didn't work on SAP Simple Finance, or I didn't work for SAP Simple Logistics. So these are the major differences between the database architecture and the S4 HANA architecture. It hits the functional aspect as well, as far as HANA, the finance and then logistics are concerned. Then another topic is new user experience. S4 HANA is readily available to implement the Fiori and the new user experience. It is called UX, new user experience. The Fiori platform, where a lot of things we need to discuss, but that is not part of our course. Where look and feel and all, everything is changed. It is any platform you implement this one, it is going to be same, look and feel is same, and it is very very much advanced as compared to the traditional SAP GUI. The user experience is high in here, and choice of deployment, where you wanted to deploy this, and multi-tenancy. So multi-tenancy is where it is in premises, or you wanted to make it as cloud. So these are all features SAP introduced in S4 HANA, which was not there in the prior versions. So we will be learning ABAP, SAP ABAP on S4 HANA. That is our course program. We are wholly will be learning the SAP technical development aspects, and that includes as per our curriculum, that includes the front-end development. Then we have back-end development. Back-end in the sense we will be directly working on SAP HANA database itself, where under it is needed, and the objects you developed in the back-end, of course, it is not only meant for back-end. We'll be consuming it at front-end, like procedures or triggers, anything you wanted. When we come to know, we will be seeing it in detail. So that's what about it. I think it's almost yeah, 1 hour is passed. So we will continue with this demo leftover part, where little more in technical aspects on the SAP HANA, how the in-memory is working, and then we will see. And in S4 HANA, we have, in HANA itself, we have introduced the column storage also. And we will see how the memory is managed, how the bottlenecks can be avoided, and how the bottleneck occurs in the traditional database at this time before HANA. When HANA introduced, how this can be overridden, or I wouldn't say minimized. It is totally overridden. It's not that minimizing the bottleneck. There is no bottleneck occurs. That is the advantage of SAP HANA, how it can be achieved. And then we will see column storage, parallel processing we wanted to see, and column storage is also there. So far our traditional database only have row based storage, row tables. Now we will be seeing column store tables. In SAP HANA we have both row based tables and then column store tables. You can create whatever kind of table depending on your requirement. And we will see how the row store and column stories, how it is being handled. Those things we will see in detail, and also simple user experience. We will be a little more discussing on the user experience part of SAP S4 HANA. Then development aspects, what is covered in our course, what is covered in our curriculum. That is what will be covered pretty much, and that will be continued in tomorrow's session. Excuse me. Same time we'll be having session 8:30 Indian Standard Time. So if you have any questions, we can handle it now. All you need to do is, if you have questions, anything, if you wanted to ask me on today's session, we can have that. If not, then if you have other questions, then you can anytime you can contact the nextittraining training. Here is the contact information. You can email, or you can call. U.S.A. number is there, Indian number is there with WhatsApp. So all these features out there, and you can see this course content also in the website. Any questions you can ask to this, the contacts. If you have any questions now, you can raise your hands and you can ask to me. I'm unmuting all so that you can ask. I'll answer it to your specific questions about the program. All right. If nothing is there, then we can wrap up for today, and we will continue the session tomorrow, same time, 8:30 IST. All right. Thanks for joining us. Have a good one. Bye for now. Thanks.